The Arizona Cardinals are the NFL's most pleasant surprise by this point of the season. The question is, are they pretenders or are they contenders? We invite you, as always, to join the conversation at facebook.com/RBTL Sports or on Twitter @RBTL Sports. We welcome back Tim Macdonell. Great to have you back.
Cheers, thank you.
To his right is RBTL contributor and co-host Anthony Corneli. Great to have you. And to my left, David Hurley. Great to see you. All right, gentlemen, pretenders, contenders sitting at 7-1. 5-2 is one thing, 6-1 is one thing, but 7-1 is a statement. Pretenders or contenders?
Absolutely contenders. Looking at this team, a lot of people probably aren't even aware. This Cardinal team, going back to last year, is 14-3 in their last 17 games. So as far as that goes, that's an impressive feat. You've got Bruce Arians, who's obviously come in and he's got 20 years experience in NFL. He's obviously put together this team that's got one of the best defenses. This past weekend, we got to see the best rushing offense versus top 5 rushing defense, and they were the first team to keep DeMarco Murray, one of the best running backs, under 100 yards.
I agree with you that they've done well this season, but I think they're pretenders, and this is why. They're going to lose twice to Seattle, once to San Fran, and they're definitely losing to one game to St. Louis, and I see them losing to Detroit. So they're going to lose 6 games in the remainder of the season, or 5 games in the remainder of the season, which will put them at 10-6. At 10-6, you're no longer the best team. I think Seattle will surprise people, go on a late stretch, win the division.
I disagree. I think Seattle, they lost Golden Tate, a couple key pieces there.
Yeah.
There's no way they're going to lose 2 games to Seattle. They just lost a terrible game. In the past, Seattle is just not what you expect, the offensive threat. You've got San Francisco too. Like, they had a heartbreak against St. Louis. St. Louis is nobody to be looked over by any means, and they could very well beat Arizona. But I could see this team walking in with a 12-4 record. And last time in 2008, they had a record of 9-7, and they made the Super Bowl versus the Steelers. So I think they can't be overlooked by any means.
Tim, I have to agree with you. I know you are our guest, and the guest is always right, but I'm going to go with my boy right there, David Hurley. I think they are pretenders. Carson Palmer, turnover king. Got to give him the crown. When times get rough, he has a problem stirring up the offense. He has a problem getting it going.
He's got 2 interceptions this season, 11-2.
Yeah, he's playing well.
He's playing amazing.
The gritty part of the season hasn't come yet.
He's playing well right now, but he's known to choke in big games. In Cincinnati, he never really won a big game.
But in all fairness, one of the main reasons why I think they're pretenders, and I agree with you, Tim, I think they're pretenders because of Bruce Arians. I think that it goes way beyond what they're doing on the field. Bruce Arians, right from the offseason, made it very clear that it was championship or nothing. He's instilled that into his players. He's instilled that, and it's a philosophy that took a little bit of time to buy into, but whoever wasn't bought into that system is surely buying into it now, which is where it becomes scary, right? Saying 7-1. But I think he's absolutely bringing that winning mentality, and especially to Carson Palmer, I think that's going to reflect good onto him to be able to step up in those pressure
situations. I agree that Bruce Arians has been helping out that offense, but
this is a team without Darryl Johnson, Darnell Dockett. I would think, once you lost those 2 players, it's over. But
Michael Floyd took a lot of offensive play on this year. He's been phenomenal. Since he came out of Notre Dame, there's big expectations on him, and he's finally coming through. But where I have a big problem with that team is on defense. I mean, Patrick Peterson signs a $70 million deal. He's got 0 interceptions. Their best cornerback is a guy who can't even name his kids, and Antonio Cromartie.
Yeah.
So I think there's a problem there, and your defense needs to step it up. You're 32nd against the pass. By the way, there's 32 teams in the NFL.
No, absolutely. Their secondary is weak, and we've seen that versus Denver. That's their one big loss. Since Arian took over, they rush on blitz on over 49% of snaps there. So obviously Peyton Manning's a guy who can call the audible and read defenses, and he exposed them. Absolutely. Yeah. So you're in a position that is going to be a factor down the road. Will they win the Super Bowl? In my opinion, no. But will they make the playoffs or potentially win the division? Absolutely. And that's good enough.
Is it that the Cards are playing well, or is it that Seattle is not playing up to their level?
Seattle's not playing to the level.
If you look at all the way the games have been lost, though, right? They've been tight games, right? In terms
but like you said earlier, Golden Tate's loss has been big. Now trading with Percy Harvin, you're losing. Zach Miller hasn't been there for the most of the season, so Seattle on offense is not the same team.
I'm curious to find out your opinion. I was switch gearing a little bit with regards to pretenders or contenders. Mark Sanchez, Nick Foles out with the collarbone, gone kaboom. He's finished. He's out. Can Mark Sanchez pull a Nick Foles, right? Because we've seen Nick Foles do that with Michael Vick. What do you think about Mark Sanchez?
I think regardless of what people are saying, Mark Sanchez is not cold. He went in there yesterday. His first pass was a 53-yard
touchdown
bomb, laser bomb.
So contender for you.
I think he's a contender. Mark Sanchez takes snaps every day in practice. He knows Chip Kelly's offense well, and I think he could be the right man to lead the Eagles into the playoffs.
I don't know throwing one more interception than career TD passes over the course of the last 63 games.
He was sacked twice on Sunday, and he also had 2 interceptions.
Right, one of them was Sanchez, off the wide receiver's hands as a gift.
But at the same time, at the end of the day, it's part of the game, you know. And the typical Mark Sanchez that we know would have actually turned over one of those fumbles, you know, on a sack. Sorry, and you know, at the end of the day,
a butt fumble or running into his blocker, or
he's a great backup quarterback. But at the end of the day, any Eagles fan or any basically coach in the NFL would definitely start Foles over Sanchez.
But at the end of the day, think about it. Mark Sanchez came into the league. His first 2 years went to the AFC Championship game.
Lost in both.
But as a rookie, he came out guns blazing, and he had no offense. He's had no offense in his time with the New York Jets. He's got Macklin, he's got Selleck, and on top of that, what's going to be his bread and butter? He's got 2 workhorses at running backs, LaShawn McCoy and Darren Sproles.
But I don't think that the issue, and you guys can weigh in on this, I don't think the issue of Mark Sanchez is his physical capability, or because we've seen him do some incredible things from a physical standpoint. The question is the mental toughness, right? This is not an Eagles team going in, cruising into the playoffs. If that's the case, I have no issue with Mark Sanchez. If we're talking about a win or go home situation, I'm not convinced with Mark Sanchez.
Well, again,
I think he's a pretender.
I really, really like LaShawn McCoy, and I really, really like Darren Sproles. I mean, they have the 8th best running offense in the league right now and the 5th best passing league. But they're not the best passing league. With Sanchez, they're not going to be, but that 8th is going to come down to the top 3.
What are our expectations, though, for this team? I mean, you've got Dallas that basically it's up to them to win the division or throw it away, right? But even so, long term, like they still got a great offense, a good defense in Dallas. It's basically the battle of 2 injured quarterbacks basically going against each other, backups between Dallas and Philadelphia. So long term, maybe they might squeak out a playoff spot. I think if they don't win the division, it's going to be really tough for a wild card spot there. If they are, they're going to be a first-round playoff exit. So, I mean, even if that makes them a contender, they're not going to go very far regardless. They're not up there.
Expectations we have for you is for you to become a regular guest on this show. Love the energy you brought.
Perfect.
And I want to talk a little bit real quickly about Elite Sports Tours and what you do. Maybe talk to us about where people can find you and what you do.
Absolutely. So elitesportstours.ca. So we're Canada's leader in sports travel. We do hotel and ticket packages to a variety of events. So if you want to go see your Habs in New York, for example, we can put together packages for you and your buddies, set you guys up.
Or if the boys want to go see the Bills.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll be in Buffalo.
Is it on the house?
I hear you. Well, friends of friends, right? But we're down in Buffalo this weekend to see the Bills versus Chiefs, so that'll be a big battle. Obviously, the Bills are pushing for a playoff run there, so definitely check out elitesportstours.ca, and glad to be on the show, guys.
Thanks for taking time. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Stay right there after the break. You know what it is? It's time for The Spread as we give you our Thursday night picks.